We are live. This is the In Between the Lines podcast. Finally back. Jeff, what's going on, man?
What's happening, bro? Where have you been?
I've been a little everywhere myself. Kids sports season's killing me right now, man. I had Quentin played golf this season, and then Drew played baseball and did track. So we were on some type of field almost every day this spring.
Oh, okay. Got it. I've been getting asked what's going on with the podcast. All right. Did y'all quit?
Yeah, I know. I've had a couple people ask me the same thing. I was like, no, we've just been busy. Somebody specifically asked me, they said, so is this just a football podcast? Because it seems like you stopped after football season. And I was like, no, it's not supposed to be. I mean, that's probably our main thing, but no, it's not supposed to be.
Okay. I was having some microphone issues here, and I'm still trying to.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on. But man, where you want to start at, man? There's so much that we need to talk about. We haven't talked about.
Yeah, we missed a whole draft, didn't we? Let's start with the draft. As a Chicago Bears fan, are you happy with what you did?
Man, I'm ecstatic. I was hoping that we would have got a defensive end early on, but I was really shocked with the Colston Loveland pick. I did not see that coming.
You know, I didn't see that one coming either. I like Colston Loveland, so I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah. So, and we got kind of rolled on about not getting the other guy, the other tight end from. It's been a while now, so I kind of forgot. He was the top tight end coming out, and he ended up going to Indianapolis. But Ben Johnson said Colston Loveland he fit his scheme better. He liked him. So I got to go by what he says.
Well, I've always said this too. People get dogged about the drafts and all these experts saying who should pick and where they pick. I mean, the experts, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper. I mean, what makes them experts? You know what I mean? I love seeing some of the old draft footage from like 10 years ago where they're saying how this player is going to be a superstar and he ends up being a bust, or vice versa, where they're talking about, I can't believe they drafted this person here and the person ends up being a star. So, I mean, who cares what they think? I mean, the people that are making the draft, I'm sure they're doing their due diligence. They're reading into things. I mean, some teams do make horrible picks and it gets proven year after year. But to me, a prime example of it is over the last couple of years, I've come to trust what the Detroit Lions people do, because the Detroit Lions drafts have been pretty good the last couple of years. Like I said, they got dogged a little bit this year because they were saying, they didn't address the defensive end until like the 6th or 7th round. But what I've seen from Brad Holmes is he doesn't care what people say. This is what you need. He goes out and gets who he feels is going to fit in with his system and with his locker room, and it tends to work. I mean, if you remember, they were getting dogged for taking Jahmyr Gibbs when they took Jahmyr Gibbs, and look how Jahmyr Gibbs has turned out for them.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see. Like I said, I'm happy with that pick. Luther Burden, I think that was a steal for us. The receiver we got from Missouri. They saying he's a Debo type player. So I'm excited, man. I really don't have any complaints.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, I'm pretty ecstatic myself. Like I said, I know that there was all the talk about the defensive end and needing an end. And I was talking to somebody at work about this, and I don't necessarily know that we need a defensive end. I mean, it helps, but like I said, we have Aiden Hutchinson, who's one of the best defensive ends in the league. He just got hurt. They had signed last year Marcus Davenport on the other side, and he was supposed to be a pretty good pickup. He got hurt. And that's the thing with me when I'm looking at like the Lions' needs at defense. It was like, if you remember, they lost 16 players on the defensive end. I mean, if those guys come back healthy, they're fine.
Yeah, the injuries, man.
Oh yeah, and so I know they picked up that kid from Egypt as kind of a prospect in like later rounds. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but they think he could be something special, a raw talent. Like I said, I'm looking to see what they do with the kid. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm happy every year after draft year. I don't fall into the, well, Mel Kiper thinks they got a C. You know what I mean? I could care less what Mel Kiper does. Whatever. So
Right.
I'm excited, but I mean, best now going back to the draft without specifically talking about our teams. Well, of course, the huge news on the draft was the Shedeur Sanders situation. What did you think about that?
I felt bad for him, man. I don't think he should have slid that far. I think I think his talent is better than that.
Do you think there was some collusion going on between the teams, or like everybody's saying, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think something was going on. It's hard to say, but I don't know. You know, for a team like Pittsburgh to pass on them and they need a quarterback, and I mean they could have picked him up. Um, you know, so I don't want to hear anything else about, you know, they need a quarterback. You know, Tomlin this, Tomlin that. They clearly had a shot at getting a quarterback and chose not to draft him. So
Yeah, the thing that I always struggle with when I hear that kind of stuff about, they colluded against him and this and that. I don't. I mean, something definitely was up because I mean he went from being a surefire number one first round draft pick. I mean, there was some talk months before that he could be the number one player taken. To get taken in the sixth round seems a little weird. Now, I did hear, some of the interviews and stuff like that were horrendous. And it's kind of like, I'd heard, I'm trying to remember who said it when that whole Colin Kaepernick thing was going on. There was a player and he had said, teams don't want all the outside drama coming from the number one quarterback. But if he ain't even a number two quarterback, there's no drama that can come along with it at all. You know what I mean? And so if they don't think he's a number one quarterback, then it's best to stay away from it because he is going to bring a lot of stuff and attention and possible drama with him. But these teams are also, I mean, they're into making money. They're into winning. They want to win games. To win games makes them money. So, I mean, if they really thought that this kid was somebody that could help them win games, I just find it hard to believe that they would be like, yeah, everybody skip him until the sixth round. Like, so who decided that in the sixth round, okay, now somebody can take him. You know what I mean? He's still taken just to have to go to the Cleveland Browns. I mean, that's got to be an ego trip for him.
that's probably the worst part about it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to Cleveland.
Yeah. And then, it's funny, I read all these things on Facebook and social media where they talk about, I mean, I can see one post where it'll say that he's performing the best out of everybody. And then I see another post where it says he's performing the worst out of everybody. And it's like, there's so many troll sites and troll posts nowadays that it's hard to say exactly how he's doing. What their quarterback room is, they got the kid from Pittsburgh that had been there. What's the younger kid's name? Kenny Pickett. They have Pickett. Right. They have Joe Flacco. They signed Dylan. They drafted Dylan Gabriel, and then Shedeur Sanders. So there's four of them. I mean, how many will they keep? Will they keep three? They're not going to keep all four, right?
Deshaun Watson too, right?
Oh yeah, forgot about Deshaun Watson. I mean, I don't think Deshaun Watson's there to play this year, though. I mean, I think
Right.
didn't he tear his ACL or Achilles or something like that?
Achilles. I think it was Achilles.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not a big Shedeur Sanders fan. So, I mean, I was happy to see him not go in the first round. But to be honest with you, that him not going in the second round really shocked me. And then as it went third, fourth, fifth, I was like, then I kind of got to that same point with you. Was like, I mean, will this humble him a little bit? Well, maybe, but like I did feel bad for him. Like I said, it's like,
Yeah. They said that they didn't really like his attitude. He wasn't humble in the meetings and things like that. You know, he felt entitled.
mm-hmm.
You know, he took on a lot of his dad personality.
And I can believe all of that, just from what I've seen. I can believe all of that. And I know there was something, I think they had said, was it the Giants? Because originally the Giants were one of the ones that were projected to pick them in the top 5. And they had said that the interview with the Giants was so bad. And so they were going to actually release the tape of the interview. And my understanding is, like, I thought I had read something about the Sanders family and the Browns were like trying to sue them to prevent them from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, and I don't know if that's a troll story either. You know what I mean? But
I think if they had a way to release it, I think it would have been done.
Yeah. We'll see. Like I said, I mean, now he gets to go out there and, like, I guess we'll see. We'll see if he can do something. Like I said, I didn't think he was I mean, I think he's good enough to be in the NFL, but I didn't foresee him being a superstar. I mean, I mean, did you ever see that video of him and Cam Ward kind of working out together?
Yeah. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, where Cam Ward was kind of telling him, all I do is football. I'm not interested in all those other things that you're doing. I'm interested in football. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was good. You have you paid attention to y'all schedule?
Yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
It's very favorable to me.
Yours or ours?
No, yours.
Favorable. Oh, I got you.
Y'all
you're happy to see it.
No, but y'all don't really travel that far. Y'all got 3 home games in a row twice. I don't think we have any back-to-back home games on our schedule.
Jeff, you're talking stupid right now. All right. The close. I mean, did you see our road games?
It's not bad.
We're on. So I mean, we've got our games obviously against the conference, but our road games are at Cincinnati, at Baltimore, at Kansas City, at Washington, at Philadelphia. I mean, we're playing, like, I think almost all of our road games are against teams that were in the playoffs last year. It's brutal. I don't think there was an easy road game at all on that schedule. When I saw the schedule, I was like, holy cow, if we win 10 games, it'll be a good season.
Let me see. Packers, Bears, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, Giants, Packers, Cowboys, Steelers, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah, I mean, we have a good home schedule, but that road schedule is brutal. I mean, first game of the year at Green Bay, seriously. And then home game at the Bears, that's easy money.
I don't think so.
At Baltimore, we don't match up well against Baltimore, never have.
Okay, that's probably a loss.
We got home game against the Browns.
The Bengals, I mean, that's not a team to look at and be like, oh, this is gonna be tough. They average to me.
I disagree. I think the Bengals are a good team.
Last time y'all played the Chiefs, y'all smacked them around. Chiefs still got to. I mean, they was barely getting by last year, and that really caught it. Didn't catch up to them until they got to the Super Bowl. But I mean, they was just barely getting by.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Every single game they had was close, but they won them. I mean, that was the thing; they were winning them all.
Yeah, there was some miracle type stuff going on at the end of those games.
Yeah, it's like I
Uh,
said, it's a good team though to play on the road. It's a tough schedule. I don't care what you're talking about. It's tough.
I think
But you,
ours is just as hard.
oh, do you? You
Yeah.
think it's just as hard? I mean, we
Hmm.
play the same teams, right? I just think I just think yours probably more favorable home and away. Let me see. Yeah, so you do have the Commanders on the road. Oh, you got the Wrangles and Bang. Yeah, no, that's you. You're right. Yours is just as tough. Yours is actually probably tougher than ours because you faced the Lions twice.
We gonna sweep y'all.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
So you're not concerned with all of the coaching that y'all lost? Is that a concern for you?
It
'Cause y'all
is.
lost a lot.
It is. It is. I'm hearing good things about the new defensive coordinator, Shepard. So, or yeah, is it Calvin Shepard? I think that's his name. He was the linebackers coach before. They said he's a future head coach. The offensive, I'm more interested to see how the offense works without Ben Johnson being there. It was I don't imagine we're going to see as many of the trick plays as possible, but um, that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested to see if Ben Johnson is actually a good head coach or if it's more of an offensive schemer. Because so now that he's with the Bears, is he going to be calling the offense or is he going to have an offensive coordinator?
No,
I
he's
mean,
calling it.
yeah, but then if he's calling it, there's a lot of other responsibilities going on too. We'll see. Like I said, I'm still. I like what you guys did, not necessarily draft wise, offensive line, but your offensive line has been your guys' biggest issue. But you guys made a couple trades and got some good players there. We'll see. Like I said, yeah, I'm a little nervous about the coaching, but I think mainly our thing isn't so much the assistant. Well, it is, but I think it's a culture thing for us. I like their culture. And I read something about that too because I've I've been surprised that we haven't gotten or re-signed Zadarius Smith. He's the defensive end they picked up in the middle of the year, and he wasn't a superstar by any means, but if you actually look at the numbers, he put up a lot of pressures. Especially, he ended up being the number one because of all the injuries. He still put up a lot of pressures. Even as the person getting double teamed. And I just feel like with him on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, I think he could be really good. And I don't think that he's asking for a ton of money. And I feel like he wants to be in Detroit. Like I said, that he was still going to Pistons games in the playoffs and things like that. And I think that he's been to a Tigers game here or there. So I'm wondering why they haven't signed him yet. And it's also more curious that nobody else has signed him. So I'm trying to wonder like what's going on right there. I know today's June 1st. And I know that there's a lot of things that happen after June 1st with like bonuses and things like that. So I've been wondering if they've been waiting on that or not. But what I was reading though is that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, the most important thing is culture, locker room culture, and they're not about bringing anybody on the team that can disrupt that culture, no matter how good of a player that they are. And so that's been some of the talks with some of the other players that have been linked to the Lions that they have actually looks like they haven't shown much interest at all. So yeah,
I'm excited about Ben Johnson so far. The OTAs have been intense. The practices that he's been having thus far, all of the reports coming out of there. Because the last few coaches we had was soft, man. With the practices were were soft. He was giving players a lot of time off. And I think, we was dealt with injuries too. But I guess that could go either way because if he's coming from Detroit and you guys had a lot of injuries, after, and you guys had good practices. So I guess that could go either way. But he's already changing the culture in Chicago. So
yeah. I'm anxious. I'm excited. Like I said, I was talking about, so the Lions are actually playing in that Hall of Fame game, the game that opens up preseason. I don't remember who they're playing, but
I was just looking at that because that's the reason y'all got 4 preseason games.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to it. And said, I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, not that preseason games are really much of anything.
How could you forget who y'all playing in the Hall of Fame game? I mean, just take a wild guess.
I don't know.
The Chargers.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I do remember that now. But so that'd be kind of cool too. But it'd also be cool to actually. I've never been to the Football Hall of Fame, so I thought that would kind of be a cool little weekend. Go check out the Pro Football Hall of Fame, see the new inductees, and then go watch a football game, even if it is mainly rookies and people fighting for a job.
You guys, the Chargers picked up somebody from Michigan. They drafted somebody. Jim Harbaugh drafted one of those players that he brought in. I can't remember who it was.
Let me see. They picked I'm not seeing anybody. No. Not that they drafted. Did they do like a undrafted free agent or something like that? Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody on the team that I'm seeing. Yeah, they drafted.
Maybe it wasn't in the first round.
No, I mean, I'm looking at all their draft picks, including who they picked in the undrafted free agents either, and I don't see anybody from Michigan.
I must have seen that wrong. Yeah.
Have you been watching the NBA at all?
Yes.
What are your thoughts been?
I was a little shocked at how OKC smoked Minnesota the way they did.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be at least, 6 games, possibly 7, and yeah, they went right with Minnesota get 1 win.
Was it 1? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, they What do you think of Oklahoma City's style of ball?
Man, fast, up tempo. Their defense is off the charts. I like it. I mean, they kind of exciting to watch. You don't think so?
I'm not a fan. I feel like they flop incredibly a lot. I mean, to me, it's not exciting to watch all the flopping. Like I said, and S. Shy, I mean, I can't stand watching him play. I mean, to me, he's the same way. Same reason I didn't used to like watching Chris Paul. Same reason I didn't used to like watch James Harden, where they're playing to get fouls and they're faking it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like they call him a free throw merchant. And I went to a Pistons game earlier this season. It was against Oklahoma City, and he scored like 40 points. But it seemed like every time he drove to the basket, they gave him a whistle. And I mean, 20 something of the points were free throws. And it's just like you watch him play, and especially when they show it in slow motion, and he's flopping, he's drawing. It's to me, it's not exciting to watch. And I used to hate that about Chris Paul. Used to hate it about James Harden would do the same thing, where he would drive and he would actually grab your arm. He would grab the defender's arm,
right,
and then flop afterwards, like to make it look like they did something. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. It's smart. I mean, if the refs are going to allow it, it's smart, but I can't stand it. Like I said, Jalen Brunson did that too. When I watched the Pistons and Knicks this year in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson did a lot of it too, and I just can't stand it. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from that aspect. I do. But I was just speaking from as a team.
Yeah.
It was kind of, they wanted a more exciting teams to watch, I should say.
they're good. I think they're going to win it. They're good. Like I said, it's just I don't like that kind of thing. And it's not just Helm that does the flopping. The other players on the defense flop and stuff like that. And that's become an NBA thing. Like I said, I know we had some discussions earlier in the season about viewership being down and what's wrong with the NBA, and I was defending it a little bit, but like I said, especially from watching the playoffs, to me, I do. I don't. I wasn't a fan of the NBA this year. Like I said, I enjoyed watching my Pistons and watching the turnaround that they had and them actually winning some games in the playoffs. But in general, NBA is just not that exciting for me to watch anymore.
I was more. We was talking about the NFL draft. Was something going on? Was something going on with the lottery pick in the NBA?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. They were showing. I mean, that's what they were saying. There was like the suggestion is that the NBA forced Dallas to trade Luka to LA for ratings, and in exchange, we're going to make sure you get the first round, the number one pick. That's what the talk was. But then they brought up like same thing when the Pelicans traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers several years ago.
Yep.
Also, the Pelicans got the number one pick, and they had showed one other example of it as well. And I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy. I can see that. Okay, hey, small market team, send your superstar to the Lakers for ratings, and we'll make sure you get the number one pick." And that's. There was some other talks because when that happened, then they were bringing up when the draft that LeBron James was in and how Cleveland magically got the pick, so it made it like a storybook thing and drove ratings up and things like that. And I guess I can see the NBA doing something like that.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
especially no doubt in my mind.
Especially with how bad the ratings were. Like I said, it got bad, and the ratings did go up a little bit when Luka went to LA, and it was amazing. All of a sudden, once he goes there, he's not injured anymore. He gets to play almost immediately.
And as soon as it started, like as soon as they started doing the lottery balls, the first thing they said was Dallas has never had the number one pick.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, here we go, man.
Yeah.
It just kept on going, going and going. I said they gonna get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny though. I mean, did you watch a lot of college basketball? I mean, did you watch Cooper Flag?
I mean, not often.
Yeah,
whatever I had a chance.
Like I said, I watched him a little bit, and I remember I followed him a little bit, and when he was in high school, and everybody was talking to how he was going to be a stud, and I watched him a little bit in college, and he's a good player, but I don't see him being a superstar.
Yeah, it's one of those things we just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, like I said,
they're gonna put him on TV a lot.
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, I don't know how hurt Kyrie Irving is. But
yes, he had a pretty bad injury. What was
I think he tore his ACL.
Or ACL, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at the roster. I think Cooper Flag will be a good fit-in piece. He can shoot. He's a good defender. He's athletic. But, I mean, the size that they have with Anthony Davis and Derek Lively is a stud big man, too. And they said he actually grew 2 or 3 inches over the summer, too. Like, they said he's at like 7'3" now. And he can shoot the three. And then you've got some of those other players. They've got a lot of good role players. They'll be deep with some good role players, some good playmakers. I mean, they could be really good. But I still think it was still a shit trade for them, unless they were told, let's do this trade right here, and you're going to get the number one pick. But it was funny because I read a post like as soon as they won it, they're like, Nico Harrison's going to trade Anthony Davis and the number one pick back to LA for Luka Doncic. And it was like, that'd be the stupidest thing in the world. They literally just
already
flopped anyway. But I'm anxious to see. Like I said, I know when the draft or the trade happened, and we talked about it, and I had said I didn't think Luka and LeBron would fit well together anyway, because
Luka
they're
and
both
who?
LeBron,
Who was that?
your boy.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I've seen some posts recently, and like I said, same thing. I don't know if they're troll posts or not, where they said this is going to be his last year. He plans on doing the
The farewell deals.
the farewell tour, and I thought I read something like the All-Star game was supposed to be in Los Angeles this year, and yada yada yada. And I knew he wouldn't be one that just retired. He would want a farewell tour.
I've only known Kobe to do that.
Yeah,
Have
I'm
you
trying to.
seen any? Have you seen another player do that?
I did. I'm trying to remember who it was because I think Draymond Green, who I can't stand, actually kind of dogged him about it and said, "Was it
Yeah,
Paul Pierce? Was
yeah,
it
they
Paul?
don't love you like that. Yeah,
Yeah, you're not Kobe. Yeah, you don't get a farewell tour." So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't, but I can see LeBron wanting one. He's that kind of ego. Yeah, I don't even know I brought his name
Like as the days go by with this dude, I just hate him more and more and more. Like
up.
there's nothing about LeBron James I like.
Yeah,
Um, I just don't. I seen something where he said he want a break after the season.
yeah, I read he
Have a break in between the season and the playoffs starting.
a month between. Yeah, I read that. Like I said, I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, that can be somebody just posted. But
No. He actually said it.
oh, you actually
It was
heard
a
him say it?
video. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So this dude, he's a clown, man. He's a clown. And
yeah.
it did, with the flopping thing with him. And did you see the one where he flopped and then he was kind of looking out of it?
I did a whole video of him flopping and complaining. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And then I prefaced it with it because there's a clip of him saying that he wished he did know how to flop because he doesn't know how to flop, and he wished that he did know how to flop. Then maybe it'd help him. And I'm like, and then I played a whole clip of him flopping. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't even know why I brought his name up.
Yeah. He don't.
But you know what? Something else that we have talked about in the past that actually became official. You see that Terence Crawford and Canelo are fighting in September.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Do you know the date in September?
God, is it? I want to say September 13th. A buddy of mine has already invited me over to watch it. My big boxing guy, but I think it's September 13th is what's ringing out to me. Let me look it up.
And that would have been perfect if they was because I'm trying to go to the Bears game in Vegas, which is September 28th.
September 28th.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, you think that you think Crawford's going to win easily, right?
Yes.
I originally didn't know because I was talking about the size difference and him just being a stronger fighter. But as I've been doing a little bit more reading and just kind of watching some of his older fights, I don't really think Canelo has been the same since those bouts with Triple G. He just hasn't looked like the same fighter since then. And Crawford has been a stud. But it is interesting though because I'm seeing there's a lot of people with different opinions on it. I mean, I see some people saying that no, they think Canelo's going to knock him out after a couple rounds. And then I've seen some other people saying no, Crawford's going to outclass him. He met his bad matchup for him. Yeah, it's September 13th.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't know where it's at yet. They said it's being debated between New York, Los Angeles, or Vegas. But yeah, that's one I'm going to watch. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, so we got a while. Still got a few months.
Yeah.
This is kind of the last season for sports, unless you just heavy into baseball. But after the finals, and all real men are sitting back looking for football season, waiting on football season, I should say.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I read something about that the other day because I have been watching baseball this year because the Tigers are doing really good. So I've been watching the Tigers, and I have been watching the NBA, even though I haven't been a big fan of it. But there was a post the other day saying the reason that football is king is because, and then it showed a picture of the draft with like 200 and something thousand people standing outside, where that's what it said. It says, what other sport can you get 250,000 men standing outside to hear a bunch of names called? Because that's literally what the draft is of just calling people's names. And like I said, I know when I went to the one draft in Detroit 2 years ago, it was insane down there. So,
Right.
so when you get that many people coming out just to watch somebody's name get draft called, and you got that many people, it's definitely a popular sport. But it's definitely my favorite right now, like easily.
What do you think of Michigan's schedule this year? Have you looked at it?
Yeah, I think it's a favorable schedule. I think it's favorable. The second game is at Oklahoma. That'll be a tough one, and I think Sharon Moore is suspended for that one.
Why?
I don't know if he voluntarily took or if they forced a 2-game suspension on him. So it's the first 2 games of the season he's suspended. Still, for all that sign stealing stuff, I think for his was he deleted a bunch of messages from Connor Stallions, but he voluntarily turned them over. Like, he's the one that reported it. Like, it was like right as everything came out, he deleted a bunch of messages from them. And then the investigation really came through, and once they started investigating, he turned it over. It says, I did delete all these, but nothing was like incriminating. It was just messages in general. I think he just like okay, get him off my phone type thing. But he self-reported it, but then they still suspended him as part of the investigation for deleting evidence, even though my understanding is that nothing in there had anything to do with any of the sign stealing allegations. So yeah, he's missing the first 2 games. But we'll see. I'm interested to see if Bryce Underwood's going to be the starter or not. That's what I'm interested in seeing. But it's a good schedule. I mean, like I said, there's the Oklahoma games will be a tough one, although I don't think Oklahoma's as powerful as they have been. That's still a tough road game, even if they're not as strong as they have been. But I mean, if they win that game, I mean, they have a really, really legitimate shot of being undefeated when they go to when they play Ohio State. And that one's at home this year, so
Yeah.
So,
And I can only there may be some drama in that game just from last year.
Yeah. You know what? If you get a chance, my guy at work that the one I always tell you about that gives me all this Michigan information, he's the one that put me on it. But it was maybe a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. Connor Stallions actually did an interview, and it almost looked, he put me on it and said, you got to watch it. And I did. And it was almost like his lawyer told him, it doesn't matter at this point. Say what you want to say. And he just kind of went out. And God, it really made Ohio State look stupid. I mean, it really made Ohio State look stupid. He was basically, he's sitting there telling you what he would do, right? And he was like, he was going through the process. This is how we do it. This is what we did. This is how we do it. There's a whole group of people that do it. All these teams are doing it. This is what we do. This is what we discuss. And he was talking about how easy it was to steal their signs. He said it wasn't even stealing. He said you could literally just, they said it was the same guy that was calling it. You just had to figure out which guy was calling it. He said, and you just look and it would be that guy right there. And this is what he was doing. And he was saying what they would do. He starts talking about, especially on offense. The offense has a play clock on them, right? Mm-hmm. So he said that they would literally, like the Ohio State coach would be waiting, but he couldn't wait any longer. He'd make the call, and then they'd immediately relay it in, and they'd call it out right then, and they'd have them stop. But he was saying It was just like they couldn't figure out that we knew that it was this guy just from watching him during the game. But if you get a chance to watch it, it's just type it in Counter Stallions interview. It would have come out within the last month or two. It makes Ohio State look stupid, and it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, it's pretty interesting though. It's like I said, he got. But there's also in the discussion too. He talks about Bryce Underwood. Excuse me, sorry, because he was the offensive coordinator for a little bit at Bellevue when Bryce Underwood was there. And so he was just kind of talking about his work ethic and how smart he was and things like that, and what film he was watching and just how he picks up things and things like that. And it was very good to hear.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see him not starting. I mean, who is there right now that will start over?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't. The only one I can think of is that there's that other. The redshirt freshman, Jaden Smith or Jaden Davis, I think it is, who is also playing well. But there's the transfer that came over from. Good Lord, excuse me. There's the transfer that came over from New Mexico, Mikey Keene or something like that, and we played him last year, I think, and he's solid. He's solid, but he's been injured, so he hasn't done any of the spring stuff that we've got to see yet. But he had actually transferred over before Bryce had made his commitment or switch.
Some competition going on there.
Yeah, there's several there, but I would say that guy's got the experience because he's actually been a starter in another program, but he's been a starter for a couple of years. So, but no, I'm extremely excited for Michigan football.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at the schedule when you were talking. Because last year it was pretty brutal.
Yes, it was tough.
Yeah, so, starting out with New Mexico, like you said, at Oklahoma, then Central Michigan. So it's possible they can start out 3-0. Nebraska 4-0. Wisconsin. It should be 5-0. I'm not sure about USC.
The biggest thing about USC is it's at USC.
Okay. Washington is always a tough team to play.
Not at home. At home, they'll handle them.
We got to go to Michigan State this year.
Bums.
Purdue. Oh, Northwestern. Northwestern, that's always a tough game.
It is, actually, especially there.
Yeah. Maryland and then Ohio State. Maryland can be tough in Maryland.
Yeah. There's always that one Big Ten team that nobody really thought much at the beginning of the season that ends up being a decent team, too. Like, was it last year? Was it Illinois, or was that 2 years ago? It was
last year. Yeah. Illinois beat them.
So, yeah, there's always a team. It could be one of those teams could end up being good this year. You didn't even realize it.
Yeah, so that's going to be tough. And I'll always root for Illinois as well. So, and their schedule I think theirs is kind of tough as well.
Yeah, because we don't play them this year, do we?
No.
Yeah, let's see.
But we got Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana, USC, Purdue, Ohio State. Oh, we play Ohio State early. Washington, Northwestern, Wisconsin. We got Maryland as well. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, when you don't have to play Michigan or Oregon or Penn State, those are the blue bloods. They still have Ohio State, and that's a tough one, obviously, but it's those top four. Like I said, the same thing. Michigan doesn't have Oregon, doesn't have Penn State. That's a good spread.
I'm calling for an upset.
Which one?
Illinois gonna beat Ohio State this year.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be rooting for it.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna watch that game. October 11th, the day after my birthday. That's gonna
Nice.
be a good birthday present for
Good
me.
birthday present for sure.
I'm calling it.
Nice.
All right, man. We can't have a big gap like this no more.
No, I agree. Like I said, that was too long. Too long for sure. So
Yeah.
it's time to start talking about football. So we'll get back into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's other things that we can cover. I just can't even think of it right now. But we'll just
Well,
gradually.
yeah. Make a list. We'll start figuring out some things, and then maybe I'll make a list too, and then maybe we can get some comments and the people asking about some stuff too. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, I know, like I said, a lot of things happen in the NFL after June 1st. So I'm anxious to see if there's some things that start happening this week as well. Because your boy Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed with anybody yet either.
And I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction of sitting there waiting. It's either you gonna come or you not.
Yeah,
At Pittsburgh, I can't believe that they would.
like you said though, they don't have a quarterback.
And he knows that,
Mm-hmm.
so he's just sitting. I think he's going to try to get around doing training camp like Favre used to do.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could
Yeah,
see that. He's gonna play somewhere. It's just, yeah, we'll see.
and I just want to see somebody fold him right in half. Man, I
Yeah.
can't wait. I'm seeing that edge rusher come around the corner and knocking the hell out of him. So go ahead and go to the Steelers. The Steelers got to come to Chicago this year. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
that's the
did.
game that I'm going to
He
look for
he
him to
did
get hurt.
mention something about it. Did you see that?
No.
God, I just read it because that was the suggestion that he's talking about. Pittsburgh was they were saying something about the Bears, and he had said because he's always talked about owning the Bears and things like that.
Right.
He had said something about no, but the team that he's going to go to will be playing them this year. And so everybody's saying, "Oh, he's talking about Pittsburgh because that's the team that's playing the Bears that doesn't have a quarterback right now." So he's already got you circled on his calendar, bud.
Sorry. Got his ass circled too. Pause.
Yeah, that's a good pause.
Yeah. Okay, bro.
Alrighty, you want to lead us out?
Yes, yes, yes. Continue to watch for us. Sorry about the delay, the gap in between episodes here, but we will do better. Nothing has changed. Continue to watch out for us on YouTube, all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Jake will be posting something there. So be on the lookout. We are back.
We're back, baby. Keep following us. We'll be back. See ya.
Yep.